They're a year apart. Birthdays. I understand we're live. So welcome to anyone who is tuning in. I'm going to invite Carol and Gerri and to join us, and Pete when he gets back into the room. We're waiting for Pete. That's right. Waiting for Pete here in the sanctuary, waiting for Pete here in the sanctuary, waiting for Pete here in the sanctuary. Pete's coming up the stairs, pretty soon he is. Pete's coming up the stairs.
Wait for Pete. We love Pete.
Morning. So, you know, this is a live stream. Well, if you'd like to sit for the next one. Otherwise, yeah, it's nice to have somebody in the congregation. We're still waiting for Pete.
Waiting
In
for
the sanctuary,
Pete.
waiting
for Pete.
Here in the sanctuary, waiting for Pete. Here in the sanctuary, Pete's coming up the stairs right now.
Right there now.
Pete's coming up the stairs.
He's right there now.
Good morning.
That was fun.
There was a lot of embarrassing Pete while you were gone.
We're going to start a song,
It's nice to be missed.
free service
Yes.
song here, These Hands. And we're going to do it a cappella to start. Three, four.
These hands
can
build a road, heal a heart and move mountains. These hands can change the world, for these are the hands of God. These These hands can build a road, heal a heart and move mountains. These hands
morning. We'll welcome Dottie Freeman up.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Dottie Freeman. I'm a former and current board member of Unity Church in Albany. And I'm here to welcome you who are in the sanctuary. This is a warm and welcoming church. And we are welcoming all of you who are out there watching us on YouTube and Zoom, John Mundy. And for those of you who will see this in days and weeks to come, we welcome you. We have a guest minister today, and I will be giving you a short bio on him later, but just to let you know that John Mundy is out there in Zoom land waiting to join us this morning. I have an opening prayer. And this is from the Course in Miracles, Lesson 291. This is a day of stillness and of peace. Christ's vision looks through me today. His sight shows me all things forgiven and at peace, and offers this same vision to the world. And I accept this vision in its name, both for myself and for the world as well. What loveliness we look upon today. What holiness we see surrounding us. And it is given to us to recognize it is a holiness in which we share. It is the holiness of God Himself. This day my mind is quiet to receive the thoughts you offer me, and I accept what comes from you instead of myself. I do not know the way to you, but you are wholly certain. Father, guide your child along the quiet path that leads to you. Let my forgiveness be complete, and let the memory of you return to me. Amen. So we have a mission statement. Together, let's say, the mission of Unity Church in Albany is to awaken to and embrace the divine essence of all beings through prayer and service. Our vision statement: we celebrate oneness with spirit and with the divine nature of all. And we have some information about our prayer chapel. We are a praying community, and we have many ways in which you can receive prayer. So if you call this number that's up there, get your camera and you can take a picture of it. That's the number at Unity Church for having a prayer chaplain. Leave a message and we'll call you back. And you can also access us through email through unityalbanypraise@yahoo.com. And we have some announcements for you. Did I just miss one? Okay. So this Wednesday, the 5 principles. We're in the final class of a 5-week series with Reverend Steve. It's at 7 p.m. And you're welcome to join us even if this is your first time. It's reviewing and going in depth with the 5 principles of unity. And faith in action. This is a new event that's coming up in fall. For 6 weeks, we will be gathering in what are we calling spirit groups. And we will have, I'm having a hard time reading back and forth. So there is a sign up for how to join a spirit group. Right now we have 8 hosts that will host a group. Will be on Zoom, and these are the hosts. And again, get your camera, take a picture of, and they're on the website, and it's in the newsletter as well. And the way you can get in that will be in that information. And I just wanted to say that that starts October the 7th, so you have time to sign up. Okay, we're skipping that. And we got today, as always, after church, we have a Zoom fellowship. It starts at 12:30. Come and join us and get a report from the board and conversation and community. And we are having one last chance to gather together outdoors before the cold weather sets in, and we're calling our last chance outdoor service. This is in Tawasintha Park in Guilderland, and this is Saturday, October the 10th. It's at 10:30 in the morning to 1:30, and you have to sign up because we can only have 50 people maximum according to New York State laws. Pete will be leading this service of music, fun, meditation, all things unity. And you can sign up. Did it say newsletter? The link to sign up is in the newsletter. Thank you. And we continue to have our weekly Zoom meetings. We have a Monday night book club, and this week, starting at 7 p.m., we have finished Quest for Unity, and we'll be reading Butterworth's book, In the Flow of Life. Anyone is welcome anytime to join us. And we have a 7 o'clock, then we have the noon heart-to-heart sessions on Tuesdays. And Thursday, we have a prayer hour at 9 o'clock in the morning. And everyone is welcome to join us. And we have prayer in the beginning and also community time for conversation. We thank you for your continued support of us through, you may continue to donate through PayPal at unityalbany.org or mail us a check made out to Unity Church. And we could not continue to do all the things we're doing without your support. Thank you. And now for the daily word. So let's just take a minute to gather ourselves. Take a deep breath. Let it out. The daily word for today is faith. With faith, nothing is impossible for me. With gratitude, I use my faith to trust in the good that is always present, even when it has not yet been manifested. As I pray with faith, I discern the truth that always endures through even the most difficult circumstances. As I concentrate on harmony and love, all thoughts of lack, limitation, and discord simply dissolve. As I speak with faith, I use positive words to express my belief in myself and others as divine beings. As I act with faith, I access deep, lasting strength and fortitude that help me surmount any challenges. Inspired by my faith, I move forward with confidence. Nothing is impossible for me. And from Matthew 17:20, if you have faith the size of a mustard seed, you will say to this mountain, move from here to there, and it will move, and nothing will be impossible for you. And again, the daily word is faith. With faith, nothing is impossible for me. And now, At a point later, I am going to give a short bio of John Mundy for those of you who are new and may not know who he is. But for now, we're going to bring up the musicians.
We're going to do a song that's based on the Psalms. Sweet Comfort. And I don't know, we really have enjoyed singing this song, and it is something about it, the way it's written, it really does what it says. It really feels like sweet comfort. So we hope it's that for you this morning. Here we go. Whatever my God ordains is right, His holy will abides. I will be still, whatever He does, and follow where He guides.
Sweet comfort, sweet comfort, yet shall fill my heart. Sweet comfort, sweet comfort, sorrow shall depart. Whatever my God ordains is right, she makes my feet to stand. Though sorrow need or death be mine, she holds me in her hand. Sweet comfort, sweet comfort, yet shall fill my heart. Sweet comfort, sweet comfort, sorrow shall depart.
This bitter cup, I take it, my faith
sweet comfort. And it's sweet comfort to have Dottie Freeman with us this morning. Come on back up.
That is so powerful. The sound quality here is phenomenal. And the clarity of the visuals on the wall are stunning to me, who hasn't been inside here in a long time. Very, very grateful for our audio tech team. So I'd like to just take a minute to introduce John Mundy. John, you've been a guest a long time at Unity, and we're glad you can zoom in with us through the miracle of Zoom today. So Dr. John Mundy has been a minister over 55 years, an author, lecturer, publisher of Miracles Magazine, and the director of Miracle Studies Program for All Faith Seminary in New York City, where some of your favorite people were ordained, like Roger Mock and Kay Fuller and John Frederick and Barbara Senecor and more. And so he has taught courses in philosophy and religion at the New School University and the State University of New York. He has authored 10 books, and his newest book is A Course in Mysticism and Miracles. And his previous book, Living A Course in Miracles, has become a perennial bestseller and now exists in 8 languages. He's also produced over 140 YouTube presentations on A Course in Miracles. So John met Helen Schuckman, a scribe of A Course in Miracles, in 1973, and Helen introduced John to the Course in Miracles and served as his counselor until 1980. He also appears on occasion as Dr. Baba John Mundane, a stand-up philosopher comedian. So, John, we invite you to come in and say a few words about the class that you're offering this afternoon.
Okay. Hi, I'm here. I just had to hit a couple of buttons so that I could be with you. I don't know whether you have a visual on me or not. I certainly guess you can hear my audio, right? Are you hearing me, guys?
We had there you go. You just got to hit that button one more time.
Okay, are you hearing me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Well, great. Thank you. So it's really, really nice to be back at Unity of Albany today. I've been keeping records of where I've gone and when since I started going on the road in the mid-90s. And this is, well, my 20th visit. Body may not be there, but I'm there in spirit with you today since 1997. And I want to thank Reverend Roger and Reverend Steve and all those wonderful other friends there at Unity of Albany. I'm sorry we can't actually get back together again. So this afternoon, the topic is inner guidance, which is a very, very, very important topic in the Course in Miracles. Essentially, what the Course in Miracles is asking us to do is to try to learn how to stop thinking only with the mind of the ego and begin to listen to inner guidance. Helen Schuckman, who was the scribe for A Course in Miracles, said that the main purpose, this is the main purpose of the Course, was to help us to get in touch with our inner teacher. So that's what we're going to be talking about. In a way, what we're going to be doing this morning is going to be kind of a prelude to that by looking at how we accept responsibility for our decision making. And then we'll go into much more detail in our workshop from I guess it's from 2 to 4 this afternoon. Thank you for having me with you again. Thanks.
And now we will do our statement of oneness. Together we say, the power of Christ's love now releases me from any sense of separation from spirit or others. There is only one presence and one power in my life and in the universe. that one is God, the good, omnipotence. And so it is. And now we have our musicians.
And I'll just say here, if you're interested in attending the workshop and you're wondering how to do that, go to unityalbany.org. And the first big image that you see will link you to a page about the workshop where there's a registration button. And you register there via PayPal. The PayPal should then shoot you a Zoom link. If it doesn't, we're trying to keep track of everybody who's registering, and we'll try to send it to you. But you could email office@unityalbany.org, and we'll look into that for you. All right. Lead into our meditation time. John's speaking about A Course in Miracles. This song is taken from that text. I am as God created.
I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as God created me. I am a light in this world. You are beautiful. I am as God created me. I am, I am,
Oh,
I
I am.
am as God created me. I am a light in this world.
Oh, I am.
I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as God created me. I am as God in this world. I am as God created me. I am, I am, I am. I am as God created me. I am as God in this world. I am as God created me.
You are We invite John to come back in and lead us in the meditation.
I'm back. So our meditation for today is also taken from A Course in Miracles. And this one is lesson 95. I am one source united with my Creator. And we might as well just close our eyes and be quiet for a few minutes and let these words sink in and become a part of you. Today's idea accurately describes you as God created you. You are one within yourself and one with Him. Yours is the unity of all creation. You are one self, united with your Creator, at one with every aspect of creation, limitless in power and in peace. This is the truth. Nothing else is true. Offer to your mind with all the certainty that you can give. I am one self, united with my Creator, at one with every aspect of creation, limitless in power and in peace. Tell yourself again slowly and thoughtfully. I am one self, united with my Creator. Allow the meaning of these words to sink into your mind, replacing false ideas. I am one self, united with my Creator. Attempt to feel the meaning that these words convey. You are one self, united and secure in light and joy and peace. You are God's child, one self, with one Creator and one goal, to bring awareness of this oneness to all minds. That true creation may extend the allness and the unity of God. You are one self, complete and healed and whole, with the power to lift the veil of darkness from the world, and let the light in you come through to teach the world the truth about yourself. You are one self, in perfect harmony with all there is and all that there will be. You are one self, a holy child of God, united with your brothers and sisters in that self. Feel this self in you, and let it shine away all your illusions and your doubts. This is yourself, a child of God himself, sinless as his Creator, with his strength within you and his love forever yours. You are one self, and is given you to feel this self within you, and to cast all your illusions out of the one mind that is this self, the holy truth in you. Your little part is needed in bringing happiness to all the world. Heaven looks to you in confidence that you will try today. You are one self with me, united with our Creator in this self. I honor you because of what I am and what he is, who loves us both as one. And now, one more time, say out loud to yourself with me, I am one self, united with my Creator. So be it. Okay. Shall we just go right into the message?
Right ahead, yep.
Okay, I take it. Okay, we're gonna have some slides, so give me a moment here to get them on screen. And all right. Okay, so our topic is responsible decision making. And as I said, this will be a prelude to what we're going to do at the workshop from 2 to 4 this afternoon. This again is also based on the teachings of A Course in Miracles. So there's something wrong with this particular slide. I'm going to try to pass it. Here it goes. There's Ken. I was expecting him to pop in. He just did. So the Course says, this is Ken now talking. Now, Ken was the teacher of A Course in Miracles without any doubt. The leading spokesman for the Course all the time that he was with us. And he was with us far too short. I mean, he was surprised all of us by leaving here so soon and only 71 years of age. Ken said, the central teaching of the Course is that we have another choice. We have chosen mistakenly, and now we can choose again. So one of the most important concepts in the Course has to do with decision making. And this phrase, the power of decision, actually appears 11 times in the Course. Let's look at it. The power of decision is your one remaining freedom, the Course says, as a prisoner in this world. you can decide to see it right. You can decide to see the world right. What you made of it is not its reality. And it's not its reality because we're always judging and interpreting and evaluating the world we see. Let me start that last sentence over again. What you made of it is not its reality, for its reality is only what you give it, which is what I was saying. So everyone, the Course of Miracles, another quote from the Course at the top here. Everyone is seeking to escape from the prison he has made, and the way to find release, excuse me, is not denied him. Being in him, he has found it. So everyone is seeking for release from the prison he has made. That's an interesting quote. And then you can see over on the left, there's another quote from the Course where it says, I made the prison in which I see myself. That's an interesting phrase. Do you ever see yourself as in the prison within the body? Is the body a prison? Is work a prison? Are relationships a prison? Is finances a prison? Just look and see how free do we feel that we are in our mind. It's where the mind is at that really matters. So the Course says at one point that this is a classroom, a course of love, which I also like to study, talks about this being a school. In fact, I do not know any one single esoteric mystical tradition that doesn't say that this place is a school. It's a reformatory. It's a mental hospital, if you will. And what happens is we come into this world, and it's as though we go through a variety of classes. And some of the classes that we take, that can be kind of fun. And then some of the kind of classes that we sign up for, well, they may be a little bit more difficult. We all have the difficulties of raising children, but then you say, let's assume that you come into this world and here's these classes. And oh, here's a class on divorce. Well, that would be interesting. I think I'll see what I could learn through the divorce class. No one wants to take that class. What if, oh, here's a class. This is interesting. This is a class in bankruptcy. I think I'll try bankruptcy. I probably could spiritually, I could learn a lot through that, right? Here's a course in raising children. Here's a course in cancer. Here's a course in other kinds of physical issues. There's all these and everything that is given for us, the Course says, is for our deeper learning and understanding, so we'll know how to behave, so we'll know how to treat each other so that we grow in spiritual depth. So this is Ken again. And Ken says, this is a course on accepting responsibility for what we think, what we feel, and who we are. So we're going to concentrate on responsibility. Another quote from the Course says, when you are willing to accept sole responsibility, in other words, you're not putting the responsibility onto anybody else, you're accepting it by yourself, for the ego's existence. So we've all got this ego thing that we're stuck with. And we have to accept the fact that we have bought into the ego's story, into the ego's game. And what we're going to be trying to do is learn how not to be listening to that so that we can listen to inner guidance. Let me go back and read this quote all the way through. When you are willing to accept sole responsibility for the ego's existence, you will have laid aside all anger and all attack because they come from an attempt to project responsibility for your own errors. That we're putting it out there into the world, we're saying the world's responsible. The world is not responsible. I think one of the most important lessons in the Course is lesson 31. And lesson 31 says, and this is something you have to say to yourself, I am not a victim of the world I see. Do you really believe that? If you're playing victim, if you're saying it's the world's fault because of whatever it is that's going on, that means it's blinding. It makes it difficult for us to see. I'm responsible for whatever it is I see. Right? Going on. So the Course says, few appreciate the real power of the mind, and no one remains fully aware of it all the time. However, if you are to hope to spare yourself from fear, there are some things that you must realize and realize fully. The mind is very powerful. And when I say it's very powerful, it can be very powerful in a couple of different ways. It can be very powerful in terms of the good that can be done with it. it is also very powerful in terms of the harm that the mind can bring about. We've seen that time again. This world has been filled with dictators and war and unpleasantness of all sorts. So the Course also, this is that same quote, the mind never sleeps. Every instant it's creating. Even at night, when we're in bed and we're sleeping, we create dreams. It would be interesting to look at our dreams and see what it is that the dreams are teaching you. The mind is always creating. So one of the main things that the Course is going to try to help us to understand, this is the opening paragraph of chapter 21. And many of you who are Course students are probably familiar with this, but it's really worth going over. The opening line, projection makes perception. That sentence appears twice in the Course. Let's read the whole thing. Projection makes perception. The world you see is what you gave it. Nothing more than that. But though it's not more, it's not less. Therefore, to you it's important. It is a witness to your state of mind. It's an outside picture of an inner condition. Okay? As a man thinketh, so does he perceive. What's interesting about that line is that it's from Proverbs. Jesus quotes it in the Gospels, except in the Gospels he says, as a man believeth, so is he, but that's really pretty much the same thing, right? Therefore, the Course says, seek not to change the world, but choose to change your mind about the world. Perception is a result and not a cause. Let's go on. So now this is what I want to focus on. There's one passage from the Course. It's 3 sentences, and that's going to be the essence of what I want to share this morning. This is the section that appears just before what I'm going to ask us to really focus on. Because this is the only thing you need to do for vision, happiness, release from pain, the complete escape from sin, all to be given you. Say only this. So there's something you have to say. Oh, but look at the kicker line here. But mean it. It's not just a matter of saying this. You have to mean it with no reservation, for herein the power of salvation lies. So the next 3 sentences, this is the essence of our talk this morning. The next 3 sentences contains 5 ideas, and I really suggest you memorize each of these. I mean, the whole thing, it's only 3 sentences long, all right? It's in chapter 21, paragraph 2 of A Course in Miracles, the section called Responsibility for Sight. You can pick it up and look it up yourself, all right? So it says, I am responsible for what I see. We were just talking about that. All the projections I throw in the world, I'm responsible for all those projections, all those interpretations, all that analysis that I'm throwing out. I'm responsible for that. I choose the feelings I experience. I'm going to read through all of them and come back. I choose the feeling I experience. I decide upon the goal I would achieve. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for and I receive as I have asked. Let's go back to 2 and 3. I choose the feelings I experience. There are only 2 possible choices in the long run, in the greater part of the spectrum of consciousness. It's either love or fear. I'm either approaching the world with love in my heart, or I'm fearful of the world I see, in which case I may be expecting anxiety or anger or disappointment or some sort of attack thoughts that I'm throwing out onto the world. I decide upon the goal I would achieve. Again, there's only 2 possible choices. We're either going for the truth or we're going for an illusion. And of course, guess which one you really want to be going for? You want to be going for the truth at all times and all places. Because if I'm building an illusory world, a false world, a world that's not truly who I am, that's going to lead me into distress and depression and anxiety. We got to go for truth. It's the only thing that works. And everything that seems to happen to me, I ask for. Wow. So there's some of the things like I was just going over divorce, bankruptcy, cancer. I didn't ask for these things. But then you think, but I have them. So if I have it, then somehow or another, it must be in my program. The Course talks about what it calls the scripts. We all have scripts, and we got to play the script out. We're talked about this place being a school. One of the ways we could talk about that is what we want to do in the schools. We want to learn the lesson that we're here to learn, and we want to learn it in such a way that we can graduate, that we can get out of the quagmire of consciousness that we often seem to be caught in, so that life opens up and becomes really beautiful for us, right? And everything that happens to me, I ask for and receive as I have asked. So I had cancer in 2001. It was 2001 and 2002. And I remember when I first got that diagnosis, my thought was, no, this is not in my script. This is not my plan. There's a mistake here. God, you made a mistake. But I had it. And so I had it. I had to deal with it. And actually, I had to learn what I could learn through it. And I learned something from cancer. It wasn't a good diagnosis. I had a tumor removed, and I found out that it had spread around in my lymph system, other parts of my insides. And so I could be looking at dying. And so what I decided to do was take a really good look at death. I said to death, come get me. And interesting, when I said, come get me, an interesting thing happened. Because at that point, I realized that I probably wasn't going to die. And seeing how that was 19 years ago, obviously I didn't. But by saying yes to death, by saying it's okay, I'm going to be leaving here way soon, way before a lot of friends and others are, there was a kind of freedom that came from a freedom from the fear of dying. Once I could say it's okay. Now, if I got that diagnosis again tomorrow, I'm sure a little bit of fear would come up, there'd be some anxiety. But what I learned through that first time would make that decision much easier a second time. Let's go on for a little bit. So this is the passage now that appears right below the passage that I shared with you before. It says, deceive yourself no longer that you are helpless in the face of what is done to you. Acknowledge that you've been mistaken, and all effects of your mistake will disappear. It is impossible, the Course says, that the Son of God, that's you are the Son of God in fullness. It's a matter of recognizing that fullness. It is impossible the Son of God be merely driven by events outside of him. It is impossible that happenings that come to him were not his choice. So there I was saying, no, I didn't choose this, but here it is. I have this experience. I must have chosen. So now what's my job is to be responsible for it. What does that mean? So again, the Course says, the power of decision, again, is the determiner of every situation in which you seem to find yourself by chance or accident. Then no accident or chance is possible in this universe, outside of which is nothing. If we suffer, we decide sin was our goal. If we're happy, we give the power of decision to him, to the Holy Spirit. We talked about this afternoon, who must decide for God, for you, or for us. Just a couple more slides and we'll wrap this up. So the sole responsibility is to accept the atonement for himself. This just means recognizing that mind is the only creative level. That's the only creative level there is. And its errors are healed by the atonement. Now I need to explain a moment what the atonement is. The atonement is the process by which we go through a kind of cleansing or a letting go, or a good term is undoing, to undo the projections we throw onto the world so that we can become receptive and therefore responsible. So we're responsible for everything. We're responsible for our health. We're responsible for our finances. We're responsible for our relationships. We're responsible for all the things that we see. But it's such a good feeling to accept that responsibility and then be able to transcend beyond that responsibility. So I'll kind of wrap up with this quote from, I thought this is from Marilyn Monroe, and then at the bottom also from the Dalai Lama. So Marilyn Monroe, who was really quite a bright lady and suffered a great deal, but she really understands things on a pretty deep level. The woman says, I believe that everything happens for a reason. People change so that you can learn to let go. To let go, things go wrong so that you can appreciate them when it's right. You believe lies, so you will eventually learn to trust no one but yourself. And something good, and sometimes good things, fall apart so better things can fall together. Did you ever have it? Just something fell apart, and because it falls apart, something better, maybe because you go through a divorce and you go out of that, and then by golly, things get better. Or maybe you lose a job, and because you lose the job, you're out of debt, but something else comes, and it's actually much better than the place that you were stuck in once before. Funny story, a guy once told me, he was talking about the Holy Spirit, that he had just been fired from a job, actually taken out of the building. One of those things where they escort you to the door, right? He had all of his possessions packed up together in a box. And as he's going out the door, he goes, "Help, help me," meaning to the Holy Spirit. And he hears, "You just got help. You weren't happy here. You're going to find someplace where you can be happy." Let me just have one or two more slides. So that's it, actually. So, and then now here down at the bottom of the screen. So this is from the Dalai Lama. The Dalai Lama says, when everything is falling apart, something else is trying to be born. That's actually what's going on right now. I think in our whole world, things seem to be falling apart. It's a kind of cleansing of the psyche of mankind. But as a part of this cleansing on the other side, there's always also renewal. That's a purification. Every mystical tradition will have as a part of its beginning phases a point, a time. In any deep spiritual search, this is true in the Course in Miracles and any other form. Is first we do the purification. We get through the purification and we begin to hear more clearly, and then we can begin to respond to the world more responsibly. So that's it for our morning message. Thank you for listening. And I hope that some of you will join us this afternoon at 2 o'clock, where we talk about listening to inner guidance. Thank you.
Thank you, John.
You're welcome.
Do a little response to your message with some words again from the Course.
Okay.
Tune I put to it a few years ago, the sight of Christ.
Sight of Christ is all there is to see. The Son of Christ is all there is to hear. The hand of Christ is all there is to hold. There is no journey but to walk with Him.
I think that means we come to our offering time. So invite you, if you haven't already set this up or done it previously, you're welcome now or after the service to go to our website and hit the PayPal button to write out a check and mail it to 21 King Avenue, whichever works for you. But we thank you for all of your offerings, and we say together our offering blessing: divine love flowing through me, blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. We are blessed to know that Spirit is our source. Thank you, Father, Mother, God. And so it is.
Amen.
Amen. So this week, for our 5 principles class, it's the 5th principle, which is essentially about putting our faith into action. So we've chosen a song to speak to that. This song talks about, begins by talking about a little boy from Africa who had AIDS and who had a message that he gave to the world. It's essentially the message of the chorus of this song. I meant to try to look up, didn't have time before the service, but meant to try to look up the actual words that he spoke. But it's very much this message. So do all you can. 1, 2. One little boy in Africa, he put his face on AIDS, told his story to the world till he died, and these are the words he said. He said, do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are, do all you can. Try it with us. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are, do all you can. Do all you can. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Holy Mother from India, helping the sick and the poor. Someone asked, why do you do these things? She said, this is what I came here for. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are, do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are, do all you can. Do all you can. Ha, ha, ha,
This is a gift they gave to us to share wherever you go. Be the change you wish to see in this world. Now I understand what they wanted us to know. You can
do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are, do all you can. Do all you can with what you have, in the time you have, in the place you are, do all you can. Do all you can. Ha, 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 ha. Little boy from Africa,
do all you can. Holy Mother from India, do all you can. Be the change you wish to see in this world, do all you can. Do all you can. Do all you can. Ha, 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 ha. Ha, 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 ha. Do all you can. Do all you can. Do
do all you can. Come to the point where we do our blessing for children and their blessing back to us. So we invite into our presence, into our minds, all the children in our lives. So you can bring some of those young ones to your heart and to your mind. And we envision all the children who will join us anytime in the future. And we'll say for them together, God loves you and accepts you just the way you are. And I love you and accept you just the way you are. I behold the Christ you are. And we imagine them saying the next words back to us. So take a moment in silence just to hear that in your heart. And so it is. So it is. We also will now move to our prayer for protection before we do a closing song or two. And invite you to raise your hands if you like, wherever you are, and we'll say this together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Amen. Thank you so much. Thank you, John. If you're still out there, I presume you are. We're going to sing a song also inspired by your message this morning, and one that we sing often here. Love is my decision. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give all my heart. Love is my decision.
we're gonna finish with an old song from, I'm not sure which decade of the 20th century, probably the 30s or 40s, from Harold Arlen and Johnny Mercer. It starts out with this sort of interesting beginning, and then it goes into it. Gather round me, everybody. Gather round me while I preach, son. Feel a sermon coming on me. The topic will be sin, and that's what I'm again. If you want to hear my story, settle back and just sit tight while I start reviewing the attitude of doing right. You got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between. You got to spread joy out to the maximum, when you come to the minimum, and faith the pandemonium, liable to walk upon the sea. To illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do? Just when everything seemed so dark, so dark. And they said, got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between. Illustrate my last remark, Jonah in the whale, Noah in the ark. What did they do? Just when everything seemed so dark, so dark. And they said we got to accentuate the positive, eliminate the negative, latch on to the affirmative, don't mess with Mr. In Between. Oh no, don't mess with Mr. In Between. Thank you, everybody. Have a
Thanks,
brilliant
everyone.
week.